The boy no one spoke of. I still remember the night Kofi disappeared. No one speaks of it now, but I was there. I saw it all. Kofi had no family. His mother died giving birth to him, and his father was killed in a hunting accident before Kofi could even work. No one in the village wanted him. They said he was cursed. Whenever he was around, bad things happened. The river dried up one season, and the elders whispered that Kofi had been playing near the water before it happened. A woman lost her unborn child, and the villagers said she had touched Kofi's shoulder the day before. The chief's firstborn son fell sick and never recovered. Each time something bad happened, all eyes turned to Kofi. At first, they only ignored him. No one spoke to him. No one gave him food. He had to find scraps, dig up roots, and steal from abandoned farms. But he never cried. He never begged. Then, one day, something happened that made the village turn on him completely. It was market day. Women were selling yams, fish, and cloth. Children were running around, playing. The village was alive with laughter and noise. But then, a cry rang out. A boy, Kwame, the chief's nephew, fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. His body twisted and shook as if something was inside him. The elders rushed to him, but he was already still. Then someone shouted. Kofi was standing near him. Everyone turned to look at Kofi. He was standing by the well, staring at the boy's lifeless body. He did not run. He did not speak. He only stared. That was the last straw. That night, the elders gathered. I was hiding behind my father's hut, listening. The spirits do not want him here, one man said. If we let him stay, more of us will die, another added. What do we do? Someone whispered. The chief's voice was cold. We leave him in the forest. If he survives, it is the spirit's will. If he dies, so be it. They all agreed. That night, they dragged Kofi from his sleeping mat. He did not fight. He did not scream. He only looked at them with those dark, hollow eyes. I followed them, though I was too afraid to be seen. They took him far, to the edge of the forest where no one went at night. The trees stood tall like silent watchers. The wind was strange, whispering words I could not understand. Stay here, the chief said. If the spirits want you, they will take you. If they don't, you will find your own way. Then they turned and left. I will never forget how Kofi stood there, watching them go. He did not run after them. He did not call out. He just stood there, waiting. 3 days passed. No one spoke of him. No one went near the forest. Then, on the fourth night, we heard it. At first, it was soft, like footsteps, slow and heavy. Then came the whispering, low voices that seemed to come from everywhere. The goats in their pains cried out. The dogs refused to leave their huts. I was lying in my mother's hut when I heard something outside. I peeked through the small window. Kofi was standing in the middle of the village. But something was wrong. His skin was pale, almost gray. His clothes were torn. His feet were covered in mud. His eyes, they were empty, lifeless. The chief came out, holding a spear. His voice was firm, but I could hear the fear beneath it. You do not belong here. Kofi did not speak. He only lifted his hand and pointed at the chief. The wind howled. The ground shook. The fires in the village went out one by one. Then the screaming started. Women ran. Men grabbed their weapons, but there was nothing to fight. Shadows moved where no one stood. The whispering became louder, turning into cries, then into laughter, laughter that did not belong to this world. By morning, the chief was gone. His hut stood empty. The elders searched, but they only found his footprints leading to the forest. There were no footprints coming back. Since that night, strange things have happened. Sometimes, We hear whispers when no one is there. Shadows move in the corner of our eyes. And every now and then, a child wakes up screaming, saying they saw a boy standing outside, watching. No one speaks of Kofi anymore. But we all know, we all remember, and we all pray that he never comes back.